Deadly discovery in Hallandale Beach where a body was found this morning. Investigators suspect foul play.
This is the home where that man was found, but there are still a lot of questions left to be answered here. Namely, why did this happen and where was this man killed?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're digging into some heavy court allegations that just went public. This news is set to completely change how you view loyalty within the rap industry. We're looking at fresh evidence claiming Kodak Black paid a $20,000 bounty to have his own artist, Wiz the Wizard, taken out. This isn't just internet talk anymore. We're talking about official legal filings with documentation. Before we dive into the details, hit that subscribe button and turn on alerts, because we're breaking down one of the most brutal betrayals in hip-hop history. Stay tuned, as the story gets dark, and viewer discretion is definitely recommended. Let's start with Wiz the Wizard, born Wisdom Williams. He wasn't just a random sight. He was Kodak's childhood friend. They'd known each other for over a decade, first connecting while locked up in juvenile hall. From that moment on, they were supposed to be brothers for life.
I met Kodak in the juvenile detention center a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit, we linked from right there, shit. It been all love ever since.
Wiz grew up in the same Broward County neighborhoods as Kodak, specifically around Hallandale Beach and the Golden Acres projects. However, unlike Kodak, Wiz remained heavily active in the streets from the start. By age 17, he was reportedly leading a crew of over 100 people involved in home invasions throughout Broward. They were known for the boldness of robbing houses in broad daylight, sometimes even parking in the driveway while they stripped the place. That's a different level of fearless, but that lifestyle came with a heavy price. In 2016, his older brother Wajib was killed in a Hallandale Beach ambush. That tragedy devastated Wiz and pulled him further into the street cycle. The grief from his brother's death stayed with him throughout his short life. When Kodak's career took off, he reached back for his old friend from juvie and brought Wiz into his circle. Around 2018 or 2019, Kodak officially signed Wiz the Wizard to Sniper Gang. On the surface, it looked like a success story, childhood friends escaping the struggle together. But according to Wiz, the partnership was flawed from the beginning. Wiz later claimed his signing bonus was only $30,000, and he didn't even realize those were the terms he was agreeing to.
I knew I signed for $30,000. The whole time I signed for $30,000, I ain't even know it.
That's a tiny amount for a star of Kodak's caliber, especially for a lifelong friend. But the friction didn't stop there. As Wiz began to gain traction and pull in millions of streams, he started feeling like he was being exploited.
Man, me and bro, like, that's my nigga though, man. We ain't no crazy shit, man. Like I said, if it was that deep, would've fought. It ain't no crazy shit. It's just, at the end of the day, business is business.
The contract had him trapped in a bad situation, and when he tried to settle it with Kodak, the relationship soured instantly. Wiz went public, claiming he had $100,000 ready to buy his freedom. But Kodak had cut off all communication. The feud spilled onto social media, with Kodak labeling Wiz an informant and accusing him of chasing internet clout instead of handling things privately. Wiz, however, insisted it wasn't a personal beef, just a business dispute that needed fixing. Then came the shocking court papers.
Deadly discovery in Hallandale Beach where a body was found this morning. Investigators suspect foul play.
This is the home where that man was found, but there are still a lot of questions left to be answered here. Namely, why did this happen and where was this man killed?
Now, this is where the story takes a terrifying turn with the new legal filings. In August 2024, an individual named Sigmund Brown, or Liberia Sigwa, was indicted for several murders, including the killing of Wiz the Wizard. Tucked away in his defense motion for bond is a detail that is absolutely wild. The document claims that on August 3, 2021, Liberia Sig's phone used Telegram to communicate with Denzel, stating Kodak Black offered $20,000 to the Grand Mafia for the hit on Wisdom Williams. To be clear, court records are alleging Kodak Black put a price on his own artist's life. This isn't a rumor from a blog, it's a formal legal document filed in a Broward County court, while Sig's attorney argued this doesn't prove his client was paid. The legal reality is that if the feds investigate Kodak, just offering the money constitutes a conspiracy to commit murder. That's a massive federal charge that could lock Yak up for a very long time. So, why would Kodak allegedly target his childhood friend? It seems to be a mix of contract disputes and street ego. Wiz was getting loud about his business issues and trying to leave Sniper Gang. For Kodak, who brands himself on loyalty, having a close associate air out dirty laundry was likely seen as the ultimate betrayal. There's also the street element. Wiz was still very active. In 2020, a witness set to testify against Wiz in an attempted murder case was killed, allowing Wiz to walk free. However, this brought intense heat to everyone in his circle. Some speculate Kodak viewed Wiz as a liability whose street ties could ruin the Sniper Gang brand. In the high-stakes music world, having an artist involved in constant violence is a major problem. But the craziest part is that Kodak seemingly admitted to the hit in his lyrics. I'm not talking about metaphors. He's been very direct in several songs. In the track I Wish, he raps about falling out with Wiz, saying, "You did what you did, so I did what I did." That sounds like a direct admission of retaliation. It gets even clearer on Silent Hill with Kendrick Lamar, where he says he's the type to get my shooter whacked. Consider that. He's saying he'd have someone killed and then kill the hitman to hide the evidence. That mirrors what allegedly happened to CJ, the person who reportedly shot Wiz. Then, on his Back for Everything project, Kodak actually dissed the deceased Wiz, claiming he took the Double M name from him and essentially blaming Wiz for his own death by saying he let them kill him like a kid. That is incredibly cold, especially regarding a childhood friend, unless you were the one behind it. According to street reports and emerging evidence, the hit was a setup. Wiz thought he was safe with a guy named CJ, but CJ had allegedly been hired to betray him. On September 17, 2021, CJ reportedly shot Wiz in the back of the head and left him in a yard in Hallandale Beach, the same area where Wiz was raised and where his brother died. The location was a clear message. This is the cost of crossing the circle. But the story doesn't end there. Street sources say CJ didn't get to enjoy his payday. In March 2023, CJ was found dead in a torched vehicle, burned beyond recognition. Following that, Wiz's cousin, Wham Spin the Bin, posted that playing with Wiz gets you set on fire. This perfectly matches Kodak's lyric about getting his own shooter eliminated to close the case. It's a calculated, ruthless move. The violence continued. In August 2024, Wham Spin the Bin was also gunned down in Hallandale Beach. He had been vocal about seeking justice for Wiz, proving this cycle of violence is far from over. If you look back at the Righteous Reapers video featuring Kodak, Wiz, Wham, and Psycho Bob, it looks like a checklist of tragedy. Psycho Bob is in prison, Wiz and Wham are dead, and only Kodak remains. That's a heavy pattern. What's truly disturbing is how Kodak acted like a mourning friend after the murder. Just a day later, he was at a charity event speaking on the pain of losing a 10-year friendship.
Stuff like this allow me to like be a little peaceful for, speaking and stuff like that. The stuff with Jennifer, like, it touched me because, my beautiful girlfriend, she's expecting my daughter soon in a few months. So I put myself like, man, that's crazy. Like, that could be anybody. And, I just lost a friend, a very close friend for we've been friends for over 10 years. I just lost him yesterday. He got a beautiful baby girl too. So it's crazy. Dealing with losing loved ones and stuff like that. It's hard. Like, I've been dealing with loss my whole life. My cousin's funeral was yesterday too, so it's crazy. Everybody put up with and deal with stuff like in different ways and all that. At the end of the day, we all we got. This ain't nothing to do with politics or white, black, rich or poor. So we all we got is us to help each other in the best way we can.
He even went on social media to try and end his feud with Jeff, using the tragedy as a wake-up call about how fast life can end. Some thought it was a peace offering, but looking back, it feels more like a warning. Currently, Sigmund Brown and his associates are facing the death penalty. The fact that Kodak is named in these documents means he is firmly on the federal radar. Even without pulling a trigger, conspiracy carries the same weight as the act itself. The word on the street in Broward is spreading, and more evidence could drop soon. Kodak may feel protected by his status, but the law doesn't care about fame when murder is involved. This situation shows that money doesn't always change a person's nature. Kodak had it all, yet he's accused of orchestrating the death of a lifelong friend over pride in business. The real tragedy is that Wiz never got to see his career peak. He was a rising star whose life was allegedly ended by someone he considered a brother. This isn't over. With federal eyes on the case, more indictments could be coming. Stay locked into the channel for updates as this develops. What do you think about these claims? Let me know in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe. Loyalty is rare, and clearly, some people have a very different definition of it.